Hello, welcome to the class of C programming. Today, there is the session on loopings in either of the language like C, C++, Java, or Python. So, today we'll be discussing on one of the important looping construct in programming language named for loop. Okay, so today we'll discuss the syntax of a for loop. Basically, a for loop. In almost all languages have three different kind of loops. That is a while loop, for, or do while. But out of them, most frequently used looping construct is for loop. So today, I thought of uh, sharing with you people the syntax and use methods of using loop for loop. Okay, right. So the first line shows you the syntax of a for loop. The syntax consists of three statements: initialization statement, condition statement, and step statement. And this step statement could be either increment, decrement, or any change in the looping variable that could further progress, make the looping to progress till this condition is true. Okay, so this is the syntax, and if you could see these three major statements of the for loop: initialization, condition, and iteration. And each is first initialization condition statement is separated by semicolon, then a condition separated by a semicolon, and a step in a statement which doesn't have a semicolon at the end. Okay, there are the three statements of a for loop which are very much necessary for proper execution of a for loop for any programming language program. Okay, right. So let us talk about what is initialization, what is condition, and what is step statement or statement. So let us talk about what is initialization. So initialization is a statement in a for loop which is the first statement to be executed as soon as the looping execution enters the for loop for processing. Okay, so initialization helps the for loop to assign the looping variable a starting value from where it has to start counting or start iterating. Okay, so that starting value is given by initialization statement, right? For example, in the example number 1, we have for I is equal to 1, where I is the looping variable that is used in this program. So I is initialized to 1, there is initialization part. So this repetition or the iteration starts with I is equal to 1, that is initialization part. Okay, so initialization is important for a looping variable to looping construct to start from a given point. Okay, so it could be any number that is required for a given logic of a given program. Okay, that is initialization part. Okay, the next statement is condition. Right, after initialization, once a for loop starts executing, after the initialization part, it goes to condition. Right, so it will check the condition. If this condition statement is evaluated to true, then the execution will continue to the block of the loop. Otherwise, it will exit from the for loop block, or it will not process the block of the for loop. For example, in example number say 1, after initializing I is equal to 1, it will check the condition: is I less than or equal to 10. What is I value? 1. 1 is less than or equal to 10, true. When this is evaluated to true, the block will enter this, the execution will enter the for loop block, else it will go to next line. If this condition is false, it will go to next line after the for loop. So the execution will not enter the block if the condition is false. Suppose imagine if I have initialized the I variable to 11. Okay, now I value is 11. After initializing I is equal to 11, it will check this condition: is I less than or equal to 10, is neither less nor equal to 10. So because this condition is evaluated to false, the execution will not enter the block Instead it will go out of the block the next statement after for loop, this after this curly braces. Okay, that's why the condition is very important statement of a for loop. Okay, so the first the for loop does it initialize, then check the condition. If this condition is true, it will enter the block. After entering the block, finishing off all the processing of these statements inside the for loop block, it will go back to this line, this first line, where which it will go to step or this increment or decrement. That's what I was talking about, this step statement. This step statement could be any statement which makes changes to the value of this initialized looping variable or any or the looping variable. So in this example, if I have initialized I is equal to 1, after condition it will enter the block. After the first iteration, it will go to I plus plus, where it will increment I to 1 from 1 to 2, then again check the condition. So this statement, step statement is foremost important to make the changes in the looping variable so as to be there inside the for loop. Okay, once this step statement is executed, it will go back to condition again and checks if this condition evaluated true or false. If it is true, it will enter the block. Otherwise, it will go to next statement after the for loop block. Okay, so step statement could be I plus increment, or in this example, in the example as shown here, as in the example 3, it could be a minus also. Okay, so that is called step. So this need not be I plus I minus plus or minus, it could be anything for that matter which could make changes to the looping variable. Okay, and very next important thing about step statement is that this step statement is so important that this is the statement that makes the loop to reach this condition, this condition to make this condition become false. So I mean to say that as we go on changing the looping variable with the step statement, we will be nearing to a condition where state where this condition becomes false, right? If this condition becomes false, only then for loop exits from this block. Okay, so if this condition is true, it will be there in the block. If this condition become false, it will come out of this block. And what does make this condition become false? That is this statement, step statement, right? So the step statement is responsible to make this condition become false at some point of time, so that the execution can go out of the for loop. Because a for loop cannot be keep on repeating set of statements in the block. It has to at some point of time it has to terminate and go to the next statement, so as to go to the execution of next statement of the for loop. Okay, that the state where for loop exits from the for block is done by step statement. Okay, that is, this step statement is important to make the looping variable to go to a false state with this condition, right? So if this condition is always true, what happens is the loop becomes infinite. Okay, so that infinite loop will keep on repeating within the block, and it will never come out of the block of the for loop. So for the execution to come out of this for loop block, this step is very important. Okay, so let me explain with this example. So in the example number 1, we have I is equal to 1, right, initialized. After initialization, it will go to the condition. It will check whether I is less than or equal to 1. So this is true currently. So this is true. Right. Once this is true, it will not go to I plus plus, rather it will go to the block of for loop, and whatever the statement here given in the block, they will be executed. After executing these statements, it will come back to for loop this line, and it will do this, right, this step statement, that is I plus plus. Now I value will be 2, right? So I was 1, then at this statement is 2. Once this is true, it will come back to this condition checking. If this condition is true, yeah, 2 is less than 10, true, this is still true, then it will enter the block. Then it again come back to I plus plus, makes 3. then again check the condition whether this is true or not. If this is true, enter the block. This way it will keep on repeating till 10, right? So once I value is 10, it will again after I plus I becomes 10 here, after 9 it will become 10, and again check the condition is I, which is 10, less than or equal to 10. So this is not less than but still equal to 10, right? Still it is true. It enter the block here, execute these statements, come back to I plus plus. Now I becomes 11. After I becoming 11, it will again check the condition. Now 11 less than or equal to 10. So it's neither less nor equal to 10. So this condition becomes false. Once this condition is false, the execution go out of the for loop and it will proceed to execute the following fall through statements. Okay, so this statement I plus plus is the statement that made this condition become false. If this statement is missing or it's not properly stated, then this for loop will never go out of the for loop, this block, and it will be keep on repeating within this block. That becomes an infinite loop. Okay, so this statement is so important that it is the statement that makes the for loop to go out of the block of the execution of for. Okay, if this statement is not properly coded, then the for loop will become infinite or it may not give you proper output. Okay, so that is the importance of step statement. So there are three statements: initialization, which makes the looping variable to start with the value. Then second, after initialization, it will go to condition. If this condition is true, it will enter the block and execute the block of the for loop statement. Statements of for loop block. Then it will come back to step, do the step operations, and then it will come back to condition, and this way it will repeat until this condition is true. So important is step statement, which is necessary for the for loop to go out of the block by making some changes to the looping variable. Okay, that is the syntax of for loop. Now let us take this example. So I have explained this example with I is equal to 1 and I is going till 11, and what exactly the block, it's not needed because just I'm explaining how this for loop works. We'll take some more other session where we'll discuss for loop with different logic and programs. Okay, so in this first example, I is starting with 1 and it is checking the condition I is less than or equal to 10. So this block will be repeated 10 times, right? Starting from 1 to 10 times it will be repeated. Once I becomes 11 with this I plus plus, then 11 less than or equal to 10 is false, so it will go out of this block. So that is example number 1. Let us go to example number 2. So we can also code the for loop. Though initialization, the syntax states that initialization should be within the braces of this for loop, it may not be there. No, it could be stated outside the for loop also, before for loop is beginning. Okay, like I showed in the example 2, right? In the second example, we could see I is initialized 1 before for loop starts. I is initialized to 1, right? After initialization, it will go to for loop, and this initialization is missing. Okay, so this missing initialization has been supplemented here in the first step before for loop. Okay, after this, there's no, so it checks for initialization. Initialization is missing, but it comes to condition. In the condition, we have used looping variable I that is being initialized before for loop itself. So that is well and good. Okay, so it check the condition is I less than or equal to true. So because this is true, it will go to this block, and here we see this step statement, which was the last statement in the first example within the small braces. Now it is kept within the block of the for loop, right? Even this is well and good, right? So if I plus plus after entering the block, it does I plus plus. There could be multiple other statements also along with this I plus plus. Okay, so after executing all other statements, or along with those, even this I plus plus will be executed. It will be incrementing to 2 here. So after I incremented from 1 to 2, after this, it will go back to this line, and here it will go to the condition is I. What is I? 2. 2 is less than 10. True, because there is 2. Enter the block, and it will increment I to 3. Then again check the condition 3 less than 10. True. Enter the block. Make the increment to increment I value to 4, then go here, check the condition. This will be repeated as this example. As such, there is no difference between example number 1 and example number 2 if this changes does not alter your logic. Okay, so otherwise this execution of this example and this example follow up are one and the same. There is no difference. Only thing is, here in this example, initialization is kept before the initialization statement is kept before the for loop itself, and the step statement, which is I plus plus, is kept within the block. Even this is good. Or I can have initialization here, then condition, then step here itself. I can place this here also. Or initialization here and I plus plus here. That is also well. Okay. These two lines could be inside with the for loop or outside the for loop, initialization outside the for loop, and I plus plus or step statement within the block. So it's always well and good. No problem at all. These two examples will work without any changes in the output of the variable or logic. Okay, that is example number 2. Now we have one more example. Example number 3, where I is initialized to 10. Right, this is the initialization part. So I will be equal to 10 here. I value is initialized to 10 first. Then it will check the condition. Is I greater than 1? Right. So why I have taken this? Because this condition could be any condition. It could be it is based on your logic. What exactly the logic you are framing in your program. Okay. So here there is no logic. I'm just taking example to explain different ways of looking into for loop. So is I greater than 10? Yes. After I is initialized to 10, it will check the condition. Is I greater than 10? The greater than 1? Yes. True. Because this is true, it will enter the block and execute these statements here. And after this, it will go back to this line where it will jump to I minus minus. Right. First, we'll check I minus minus. It will become I goes to 9. So after I decrement it to 9, it will again check the condition. Is 9 greater than 1? True. Still true. It will enter the block, do this statement, then go to I minus minus, I becomes 8. 8 less than greater than 1, 2. So true, enter the block, do iteration, go back here, say I minus minus here. So I becomes 7. 7 greater than 1, 2. Enter the block, execute the statements, then again I minus minus 6. Check the condition. Condition is true, enter the block. Like this, it will go till, let's say, 1. Okay, so after I becomes 1, after I minus 1, I becomes 1. Again checks is I greater than, but it's not greater than, but equal to 1. Still it is true. So once this is true, enter the block, does this statement's execution, then go to I minus 1, it becomes 0. After I becomes 0, it will come back to again the condition, is I greater than or equal to 1. Now what is the current value of I? 0. Is 0 greater than? It's neither greater than nor equal to 1. So this becomes false. Right. Once this condition is false, the execution will go out of the for loop. That is end of for loop execution. So here again, this statement, which is minus minus, I minus minus, the step statement is the statement that is responsible to take the execution out of the for loop. So this statement is very important. Okay. So this keeps on changing based on your the initialization and condition. It could be plus plus, minus minus, plus 2, plus 3, minus 3, all those things. All those are possible based on your logic and this condition and this initialization. Okay. So there is always a correlation between initialization, condition, and iteration based on the logic that you are framing in the program. Okay. So that is the example number 3. And let's take one more example, which is example 4. Now this example has nothing. There is no initialization condition, there is no condition, there is no step. So this for loop is called as infinite for loop. Okay, so this infinite for loop, why this is infinite for loop? See, this for loop also didn't have initialization. There was no I plus plus here. Okay, but it was not called as infinite for loop, right? So why this is infinite for loop? Because only reason this condition is missing. So there is no condition here. Right, so because this is infinite, there is no condition there. This is called as infinite for loop. So whatever the statement that fall into this block of the for loop will be repeated infinitely until there should be some statement or some line of code which makes the execution go out of the for loop. Like it could be if with the break, or a break statement, or it could be exit statement, right? Or it could be go to statement also, which is not preferably used in a good programming sense. Okay, so that is the infinite for loop. Okay, this is generally used when you want to repeatedly process something until some other statement makes the looping stop. to go to halt state. Okay, so there's one more thing I want to discuss here. That is, if suppose if we have a semicolon here, okay, at the end of for loop, so what will happen, right? So if there is a semicolon in the example number 3, I am just altering it to making changes with addition of a semicolon here at the end of the for loop. So there is no problem with the for loop syntax now. But thing is that this block that we have declared is not part of for loop now, because this statement termination symbol semicolon is at the end of the for loop. What happens is, it will initialize, it will check the condition, then it sees the semicolon here, so it doesn't go to the block. It will, after a condition, it will go to minus minus, right? Again check the condition, again minus minus, then condition, minus minus, condition, right? So it will never go to this block because of this semicolon. So this is also possible. You may use this kind of loops in situations where you have one single line of code, or like suppose I want to find the length of a given string, where I'll start I is equal to 0 of the 0th character of the string, then go till length of the string, and just I plus plus and semicolon. So this I plus plus whatever we have, like example here I plus plus, this will be at the end of the statement, will have the length of the string. So that kind of scenario you can use this kind of syntax or format of a for loop that ends with semicolon. Okay, so semicolon with the for loop is also helpful, but it should be precautionally used to use for a better programming logic with the semicolon. So this is also valid, but this semicolon nullifies the presence of this block. Okay, this block will be nullified and its presence will no longer be there because of the semicolon. So this will execute until this condition is true. Only initialization, condition, then step, condition, step, condition, until this condition is true, it will execute. Once this condition is false because of this step, it will go out of this block and go to the next statement. So that's how this for loop works. Okay, so that's all I wanted to discuss in this session. So we'll come up with more logic building and program logic designing in the next session. Thank you.